The COVID-19 crisis and consequent quarantine continue to expose and heighten the contradictions inherent in capitalism. Nowhere are these more acute than in the case of childcare in the 26-county state. To analyse the situation and explain the failings of this system, we must first set out clearly how it works. Childcare in Ireland is organised under a private model, where subsidies are paid by the state directly to the owners of creches, in respect of each child they have attending their service. The level of subsidy per child is determined by the level of income of their parents or guardians, with the amounts ranging from €3.50 per week to over €150 per week. In almost all cases, parents are required by the creche operators to top up the state subsidy with weekly fees in order to secure their child's place. In 2019, the average weekly fee charged was a huge €184 per child per week for full-time care. Only in Switzerland and Britain is childcare more expensive than here in Ireland. Despite the fact that childcare is an essential service, availed of by approximately 200,000 children and their families each year, the state holds no stake in the system and allows it to be run for profit, like any other business, while providing heavy subsidies to business owners from public funds. The state budget for childcare in 2020, primarily comprising of such subsidies, was €628 million. There is an inherent contradiction between the quality of childcare and profit. By way of illustration, hide and seek, the chain of creches that was subject to an RTE expose in the summer of 2019, cleared €2.75 million in profits after salaries since 2014, while receiving €1.25 million in subsidies from the state during that same period. In the meantime, they were documented as diluting the milk they fed children in their care and reducing portions of chicken breast to below nutritional standards, among other injurious practices. All this while, even if the state gave no subsidies whatsoever to the creches, they would still have turned over €1.5 million in profit. Though their profession requires them to pursue expensive and time-consuming qualifications, childcare workers can expect to earn €10.38 per hour on average, little over adult minimum wage, which now sits at €10.10 per hour. So while state subsidies might increase from one year to the next, like parental fees, these are paid directly to the creche owners and function only to increase their profits, not the wages they pay their staff. The result is poor pay and conditions, high staff turnover, skyrocketing costs, and an ever-decreasing quality for care for children and their families in order to facilitate the maximising of profits for business owners. In early May 2020, the government's highly publicised plan to provide childcare for essential workers during the COVID-19 crisis was scrapped, with little fanfare after only 6 childcare providers signed up to their proposed programme. The demand for this essential service has not gone away, but the state and private businesses it is partnered with have been shown to be fundamentally incapable of providing it. Meanwhile, many childcare workers are unemployed, having been laid off en masse by their employers as soon as the crisis began. Some are working in the black market of childcare that has since been created, working as childminders for families where both parents have to work, with all the associated health and security risks of breaking quarantine restrictions. Under capitalism, women are expected both to undertake domestic labour in their own home, unpaid, and to work at a job in the outside world. In addition to this, they can expect to earn substantially less for doing the same job as men. Typically, jobs that are done mainly by women, nursing, care work, teaching, etc., will be undervalued and subject to high levels of exploitation. Given the abysmal pay and conditions in the sector, it should come as no surprise that 98% of childcare workers in this state are women. The government's stated objective in subsidising childcare is to increase participation in the labour market, particularly among women. However, the costs of childcare are so unaffordable for working families that many are forced to stay at home, resulting in an increased burden on women and the proliferation of unpaid domestic labour. It's clear that childcare is an essential public service. Therefore, it should be provided as a universal right free of charge, by state-owned and state-operated childcare systems, where the challenging and invaluable labour of its workers is recognised by fair pay and conditions and security of contract. In this regard, efforts to unionise the childcare sector, led primarily by SIPTU members, should be applauded and encouraged. However, we must recognise that the dire situation outlined here is not a result of the failings of the childcare system, but of it working exactly as it's designed to enrich business owners at the expense of the public purse and the expense of the welfare of children and their families. The contradictions illustrated here are inherent in the capitalist system, expressed in the private model of childcare. Only through a socialist revolution can the well-being of children and the workers be truly realised, in a childcare system that is accessible to all and operated for the benefit of the people, not of the capitalist class.